Local second dropship. Orders? This is forward 3. The gantries are retracting at Gamma launch site. They're at full power and counted down to lift.
Hello and welcome everybody to MRBC. Being casted today by myself. I am the Magician and I will be casting this one all on my own. And we are seeing a matchup in week 3 between 9th STS and this combination team of 228th and MS players called the Talons of Kerensky. First up, we are going to have the 4 lights for mediums drop on domination. And that'll be Frozen City. What we've seen so far, some of these matches, is they tend to just end up being brawls around the radar dish. So we'll see if we're going to go with some small pulse. I've always found the EU teams tend to be more trusting of lasers over SRMs. So I'm just curious to see what the mix of that will be like. Now, both teams come in with 2 wins. They both won their first 2 week matches, but they haven't played any of the common opponents yet. So we don't really know how they're going to match up against those or how they might even match up against each other. But I do feel like at this point, it's going to be up to these 2 teams to determine who's going to get first place in EU Division B. Now, people might be more familiar here with 9STS as they did finish in the top 5 for EU for the World Championship and then went on to regionals. And there they did lose their first 2 matches, so they were knocked out. Whereas with MS and 228, MS had a team in EU, has made up a lot of the SWK players, and they finished pretty close. I think it was like 7th place or something. It was really close, so they did really well. But this is going to be a lot of different players. These are more of the 228 EU players. Right now I'm seeing 6 228 players and 2 of the MS players. Just waiting for the teams to finish getting ready here. We're waiting on 1 9STS player to get in, and then we will get going. Alright, so we do have all the players in the server. Hopefully get started here the next 30 seconds. And both teams are green, so we are going to get started here between 9th STS and Talons of Kerensky. As soon as Nigan hits the launch button, we will get started here. And they asked if I was ready. How polite. Just waiting for the dropships to fly in, drop off the players so we can get started here. Remember, it is 4 lights, 4 BDMs. You can only have 1 chassis duplicate, and there are no streaks. There are strikes allowed this season, so we could see a little bit of that, especially if the teams are holding back a bit. But a lot of times people, because strikes maybe won't be so reliable here, they might just go with either double cool shot or cool shot UAV. All right, so we got 228 is moving along the left border side. They did not push right into the radar. 9th STS is standing back, still towards their spawn location. Wondering if we might have a little problem here, as both teams have stopped. Well, let's talk about the mechs while we're waiting for this maybe to restart. I don't know. We don't know what's going to happen here, but 9th STS has taken a Cheetah, Stormcrow, Firestarter, Hunchback 4P, another Cheetah, Jenner 2C, Hunchback 2CA, and Nova. So they did go with a very strong beam compilation there, where 228 IBR went for Cheetah, Spider, Nova, Jenner 2C, that'll be an SRM1, a Nova, Hunchback 2CA, Firestarter, and Stormcrow. So for both teams, it looks like we're looking mostly to rely on beams. Yeah, even more than I thought. I thought Stormcrow might have been at least SRMs, but that's going to be 2 large poles, 6 small poles. Interesting. They might try to actually fight this a little bit range. Nah, probably not. Just he might give them a little bit of range. And for the duplicates here, on 9th STS, it is... What is their duplicate? Do they even have a duplicate? Cheetahs. They went with the Cheetahs. Whereas 228 went for the Nova. Alrighty, I'm guessing, I mean, they can wait as long as they want for somebody to reconnect, I guess, so we're just going to have to see. Yeah, so we're just seeing the large pulse on just that Hunchback 2CA for Nigen. Everything else looks to be small pulse range. And then Stimrod going with the 6 SRM6. Alright, I need to find out what's going on here. So they are waiting on a player. Now, since it is a light drop, time's not really a big thing here. Honestly, rules-wise, you probably could drop it to 5 minutes and pretty much be okay. But or even 10 minutes if you wanted to play it safe. I don't remember one of these light drops ever lasting all that long. Might as well at least have some music going or something while we're waiting here. Actually, let's pump you up with some.
But yeah,
Let's get
like
some FPS, Doug.
What can I say? There's nothing like the rush of hunting people down and killing them. I mean, my heart's beating, my hands are shaking, but I'm still shooting, and I'm still getting the headshots. It's like boom, headshot, boom, headshot. I'm still getting the shots. It's like boom, headshot, boom, headshot, boom, headshot. I'm still getting the shots. It's like boom, headshot, boom, headshot, boom, headshot. I'm still getting the shots. It's like boom, headshot, boom, headshot, boom, headshot. I'm still getting the shots. It's like boom, headshot.
I'm the king of the ring when I'm in the arena, cause I'm beating everybody like when I beat Tina. I can throw down with the campus mentality. The glass wouldn't stop the whole camp's reality. Sticky bombs flying all over the place.
Alright, so we're gonna have to have a redrop.
Duck walking with my heavy machine gun. The words on your screen, you were killed by Z1. Yeah, come and run my direction. I don't give a damn if you got double protection. It's a fatal attraction. I'm when fatality plays Quake and not Red Faction. Posted on a rock, sniper rifle in hand. Your forehands in sight, all according to plan. Breathe wrong, homie, and you might get caught. Everybody in the room's gonna hear what I got, cause it's a boom, headshot, boom, headshot. I'm still getting the shots. It's like boom, headshot, boom, headshot, boom, headshot. I'm still getting the shots. It's like boom, headshot, boom, headshot, boom, headshot. I'm still getting the shots. It's like boom, headshot.
Is it possible for mechs to get up here, or do they make walls up here? Does anybody know when you guys see this? Because I haven't tried it, and I don't know if there are some ledges you might be able to use to climb it. I'm just curious.
See the victims line up. Better watch where you go, or you might get shot up. Better pack your grenades if you step into us. Our frags increasing with the body. See them piling up. I take a real sick pleasure out of watching them fall. Rocket to grenades, I shot a free for all. About to whip out my sickness, give my opinion, climb up to the top and start snapping at your best friend. It takes 10 men to stop me. Here I'm coming. In the battle mode, I keep on running and gunning. Tell us to be fair, y'all better be scared. Don't care if you respond, I still be caring out to be there with a boom, headshot, boom, headshot. I'm still getting the shots. It's like boom, headshot, boom, headshot, boom, headshot. I'm still getting the shots. It's like boom, headshot, boom, headshot, boom, headshot. I'm still getting the shots. It's like boom, headshot, boom, headshot, boom, headshot. I'm still getting the shots. It's like boom, headshot.
B hit your 9-3 chumps in a line.
Wait, I'm low on ammo, but I still got my 9. Need to reach a high level for I'm truly effective.
Killing off pros and noobs, not selective.
True that, okay, I'm ready to go.
Sticky bombs in my hand, pop tops and throw. Yo, my railgun's tracking everyone in my sector.
Hey yo, I'm in position, let me give you the vector.
The coordinates match with the blips on my map.
Word to that, okay, let's set up this trap. Set a noobs in to be live bait.
Brain matter will splatter, all according to fate.
Yeah, there's no doubt, look that they found my landmine.
It's all good, now I got my snipe sights line. This is easy like aiming at Tyra Banks.
Making shots so accurate, they're taking down tanks. Boom, headshot, boom, headshot. I'm still getting the shots. It's like boom, headshot, boom, headshot, boom, headshot. I'm still getting the shots. It's like boom, headshot, boom, headshot, boom, headshot. I'm still getting the shots. It's like boom, headshot, boom, headshot, boom, headshot. I'm still getting the shots. It's like boom, headshot.
Yeah, B Bear Zealous 1.
Alright, but they're back. Everybody's back in, and we are going to finally get started here.
Too late. Boom.
Okay, so this time is for real. Once again, 4 lights, 4 mediums, only 1 duplicate allowed, no streaks, IS or clan. Domination. Both teams coming in at 2-0. 9th STS with a slight overall reputation lead. Winner of this match is going to take command of the Division B. Let's see. 228th IBR once again starting off with the split lances and moving up their left lance on the left side, right lance taking up the middle. On the other side, 9th STS is in a mob formation, and they are slowly spreading out a little bit more towards a line there, but they are really just pushing right towards those other four. But I think this is exactly what the Talons of Kerensky wanted, is to be able to collide on one side while 9th STS pushes on their left side here. We do see some loose fire, but everybody is really short range here, so we're not going to see much damage until people get closer. But you do have this Stormcrow who is moving up, taking the lead. Doyle towards the lead there. It is a little dangerous to do that with Stormcrow, especially easily targeted, and often those legs just pop right off. So now we do have a light fight coming in on this left. He is getting really close to these lights and right into the main force here, which does signal to the 9th STS mediums that it is time to engage, and here they come. We are seeing Wolfish in that Hunchback 2C being the first target that 9th STS is focusing on, while 228th or Talons of Kerensky is all over the board here. Now getting on to that Nova Cat, and we do have 2 quick kills now for 9th STS, 3 kills to 1. Now this is where the focus fire gets really important. Who can keep it up? And they are keeping it right now on that Stormcrow, trying to take it down. They have just about all their mechs shooting at it, but we have not had a mech fall down for a little while. And finally, we get another Stormcrow down. 9th STS now taking a commanding lead here, but one of their Stormcrows is legged and does drop. But oh, nice shot by Stimrog with those 6 SRM 6 taking down Avenger. And now with just 2 mechs remaining, a Cheetah and a Spider. This first drop is going to go to 9th STS. We will see if 228th can try to get another kill, get a little more Seabills. And I'm going to keep calling them 228 today, even though they are Talons of Kerensky, just because of the nameplate being there. I apologize. I will try to be better. And the Spider is legged. Well done by 9th STS. They, once again, the team that brought the fight wins. Talons of Kerensky spreading out, receiving the fight there. Allow 9th STS to enter in with their lights on the left side. Mediums rolled over. They quickly figured out their target, got it down. Really, they got down two targets before Talons of Kerensky were able to take down 1. On the damages, we do see across the board, I mean, you have 3 mechs there at the bottom, the Spider, Firestarter, and the Hunchback 2C, and a Nova, really, just all under 100 damage there. It's not going to win you too many drops doing that. Whereas Gas Your Ass was the lowest there on that Nova at 94 damage, but he was the first one to go down. Doyle, the second one to go down, got up to 267. Now, you see that Spider 5K? This guy a little popular here with the World Championship, but in a short fight like this, unless you're really able to have a late fight, some mediums alive, and use those machine guns to kind of drill in people, it's a little bit of a risk to take, because that Spider was alive till the end there, but it just did not manage to do much damage. Alright, so we saw a pretty simple drop. This time we had the Alpha Lance and Charlie Lance was the starting positions for Talons of Kerensky. They moved these people right up here, and then they came in this position. Charlie just basically went here. Actually, I should say that they held off a little bit at first, so that's important to note. Whereas we saw Alpha Bravo Lances from the other side, and they just grouped up right about here. Pushed together. They started to get a little bit of a line around this area, but then their lights on this side ended up coming this way and engaging that way, whereas their mediums were right on this other side of the drop ship. At that point, then there was the lights started to initiate on this side. These mechs were now wrong here, so they were like this. Now we have a demented smiley face. And then as soon as the lights got engaged, mediums came in, and you saw how easy it was for them just to pick out a target and take it down. I'm just enjoying this like demented bleeding-eyed, green-faced men. Well, there's not much else to say about that drop. So let's move on to talking about the next drop. This is going to be on Tourmaline Desert Conquest. 2 lights, 4 mediums, 2 heavies. Now, I was watching the match last night between Blackstone Knights, version 2.0, and Storm Panda. And it's interesting to see there's a little mix between who's going to take some range and who's going a little more brawl. And that's where I'm just, thinking here, are we going to see a lot of DACA from one team, maybe with the heavies, or both teams perhaps just going to try to collide with brawl weapons? Now, based on the first drop, a little uncertainty around those SRMs. I don't think either team felt really that comfortable with many SRMs other than Stimrock. I think he was the only player maybe in the end who had any SRMs in either team. Yeah, so maybe they won't see SRMs here, so maybe you'll see some like medium pulse. Maybe you'll see this just try to play a little bit of range. You might see some of that Hunchback 2CA with that 2 large pulse, 6 small pulse. You can take a couple of those and just try to do a little bit of poke trades, and when they get closer, you're still able to put out quite a bit of damage. If you're not thinking the opponent's going to take cooler running SRMs, you can get away with a lot more when it comes to that energy. And we have 8 players in lobby, so maybe we can start making up some time. Talons of Kentaris, Talons of Kerensky. Yeah, my bad. I am horrible with names in general. Maybe I'll just call him 228 then. Will that make people happy? Like 228 plus 2 MS? No, I'll just get it right. Don't fail. We're relying on you. Call these drops. Do not do radio play. Don't screw up names. All the pressure. All right, we are green. Ninth STS winning drop 1, 8-2, giving them a nice little commanding lead in reputation. Here we go. All right, so this drop we have the Kerensky Talons of Kentaris 228th MS. Births 9th Sangwon Tigers. And we are getting moving here. So we got a Hunchback 2CA, a Timberwolf Nova, another 2CA, a Jenner, a Cheetah, a Stormcrow, and a Warhammer 6R from 9th STS, who started up on the top side. Or the bottom side, because the map's weird. And then from Talons, we have the Jenner 2C. See what I did there? Timberwolf, Trebuchet, so a little range, a Grasshopper 5P, a Cheetah, a 2CA, and a Shadow Hawk 2K. So we're actually going to look at a bit of a range drop here. I like that. And early on, no damage has really been done. Just Brynar's Hunchback tagged ever so slightly. It could just even been a leg damage. So we got Talons hanging out in the cathedral. Caps right now are 2-1 in favor of 9th STS. Brine are now still the only one who's really taken any damage whatsoever. So let's look at some of these other positions. They are off on this other. This is one of the other popular spots, and then they have those two moving up to Theta. Now that's really a gutsy move here because they don't really have tons of support there. But I guess they're basically providing cover to make it difficult for 9th STS to get any shots here on them, and they're trying to even up the caps, but they're still going to be down 1. In terms of, they're down to caps overall, down 34 caps points. So they're going to have to get a third cap, otherwise neutralize one of 9th STS. Because otherwise, well, they're just going to be the ones who are going to have to be pressured. They're going to have to start a fight somewhere if they're not able to capture something else. Because they do right now, they have Kappa Theta, so they're probably just going to go and grab Sigma here, is my guess. Yes, that is what they're going to do. And at that point, 9th STS, knowing this, might start setting up a position so they can push on top of them when they might see that they're down 1 player. Just have to wait for that cap to get started. Doyle now at Timberwolf, 89%. So he is one of the people that's been tagged. And we see a little bit more percentages there. Avenger and Timberwolf at 88%. And that's, yeah, really, it's just really kind of slow on damage. I was expecting, honestly, from their positions, we're going to see a little more aggressive from their poking. But both teams are being really cautious here. Uh-oh. Yeah, you don't want to take shots like that. Cremoa down 93%. No big deal, but got to be careful. He is in a 6 small pulse. And Heavy Gauss in that 2 large pulse, 6 small pulse I was talking about. Alright, so Sigma is getting picked up here. And now Talons has the commanding. Our 9th STS in reply is going to go after Theta and try to neutralize this, which they do manage to do, and now they are back in the lead on caps points, as well as if they get this third cap, that is really going to start adding up. Once you get around 200 points, you're a third of the way through, and teams are going to have to start thinking about what they are going to do. We are seeing some strikes go up, but that strike missed, just barely clipping the crystal. Trying to keep up with percentages here where there are major things happening, but we just really aren't seeing that much damage. I wonder, all these PPCs, we see mixed ranges, Mead Pulse from 9th STS. It seems like 9th STS, if they can win the capture war, will probably be in a better position to win a close range fight, being that they have that Warhammer that put out some DACA cool running and have the medium pulse there, Storm. The caps force Talons to push down, get closer, and at that point they will leap on them like the tigers they are. And if you are Talons right now, you're trying to think about how you're going to get a third cap and not just give it up. So it looks like they're going to try to go after Epsilon. As 9th STS see this, they will chase after him. And that is exactly what this Hunchback looks to be trying to do, is get in that position. He will not be able to do that. Now, acting at the same time, they're managing to get one on Theta. So they are dual capping this, which is going to spread them out a little bit of the attention of 9th STS. So what are they going to do here? They're going to try to push on Theta. They actually probably could get underneath there and underneath those mechs in the Cathedral and not take too much damage in the meantime and try to take out a light. But they did put a strike down. A little bit of damage, actually quite a bit of damage on that cheetah down to 68%. We are starting to get a little bit more damage on all the mechs there. Stimrog down to 82%. And they have jumped 1, 2, 3 mechs now going over to Epsilon, trying to take out that mech, trying to cap. He is not going to be able to turn over Epsilon. So 220, or Talons will be up now 2 caps to 1, but they are down about 50 points. But it's going to be really easy to regain Epsilon here for 9th STS. And while Theta did get neutralized, they were not able to take that at all either. So Talons is going to be stuck here back to 2 caps to 2 caps, down on points. Oh, a mech does go down. Earl Walker in that Jenner 2C does go down. I guess he must have lingered around too much. I didn't see that he was still hanging around. I thought he got away, but there he is, dead at the top of that E4 area, smoking now. And that is going to really, really make problems here for Talons. They're going to have to become aggressive, as they will no longer be able to win a cap fight. So they are making their move, and this is exactly the type of thing that 9th STS was hoping for, because they have medium range weapons, and they have cooler running weapons. And now the trades are coming in, and you see that the strike at Theta. You see that Hunchback 2C of Briner took the early damage on a 70%, and you see Avenger in that Timberwolf, who's also in the 75%, and they are moving up towards the E6 side for Talons, and they are going to actually, looks like they might, yeah, it looks like they're going to push through Theta and stage here. Light going around the Cheetah going around the backside, going to try to at least flush out some of those 9th STS mechs so they don't get too comfortable. And now they are in a mob around Theta, but it is not enough to really to turn Theta. They might only be doing it just so that if they get the 3 caps in, if it's late game, they'll be okay, even though they're already down 1 light. All right, but now they are getting higher up on stage. You do see the 9th STS mechs on stage, but they actually have stuff behind. It'd be a really good opportunity if they can get up here before all those mechs are engaged, but they're flushing through the same area, and now they are in a cross formation there, and Stimrog, those medium pulse rips down Wolfish EU, and another one, Briner, quickly goes down here, and this is a shooting gallery for 9th STS. They got them exactly where they want them, and they have a nice formation here, not too much blocking. They did get a couple of mechs mixing it up here behind them. I don't know if they need to do that. I am lagging like crazy right now. Hopefully it sorts itself out here. Hopefully it's not too bad for you guys here, but we got more and more kills going on here with Stimrog down the lowest at 48% on 9th STS, but nobody else all that seriously damaged. Warhammer 64% maybe as an open torso, but with 3 mechs remaining, only one of them with really much armor at all. That one total, other than a team kill. It looks like it's going to be a flawless drop here for 9th STS. We do have a team kill there mixed up in there, and the final mech does go down, and now they just need to flip Theta to neutral, and 9th STS has taken drop number 2 in a dominating fashion, 7-1. Check out the damages here. Well, Nijin, nice 373. I mean, this is a great split of damage for 9th STS. Everybody doing their work there. Light being the lowest there. You know, no shame in that. Got a kill. They're fine. They were chasing people off Epsi, I believe. Got that kill early. So then, I think Heavy Gauss actually got that kill on that Light. On the other side, we see that Cheetah Light's just not able to get much done there with the 1 Jenner getting picked off after 3 mechs moved to Epsilon. He overstayed his welcome there. Wolfish was one of the first ones to come up through that narrow gap. I think that was one of the mistakes from Talons. When they pushed up stage, they just pushed up all through the same area. They did not try to go really too much around the right or too much around the left, and that would have opened it up a little more. They could have traded and then pushed in. They still had plenty of time. They could not win on Cap War, but they had plenty of time. So just pretty low damages overall. I mean, and there's not much they could do in that short range in that type of firing line. And I mean, with only 3 kills so far in the first 2 drops, Talons of Kentaris is only at 75 rep. You get 25 per kill. Let's look at the map. So from the starters, 9th STS moved up behind the general stage area. They were not overly aggressive. They had a couple of mechs up in the Tourmalines, whereas Talons had, I think it was at least four up on the single Tourmaline in the Cathedral. And they had 1 mech on this area here, which is really it's actually pretty far. PVCs can do some chip damage, but not very much. And that was most of the fight. I mean, that was most of the early part of the fight there. You had Epsilon and Theta in terms in control by 9th STS, whereas Talons just got Kappa. And then they were able to get Theta back. At least, yeah, they were able to get Theta. So then they went to get Sigma. But then we started doing some flippy flips. It went back towards blue, Theta, then it went neutral. And then Epsi got turned over towards red, or they tried to. And that's when the Light was over here trying to do this. And then 3 mechs came over this way, stopped the cap, and instead of this mech really trying to just do everything it possibly can to get away and survive, instead, I didn't even see it exactly how it happened, but he ended up dying right in this spot right here. So those 3 mechs are able to do that damage, and while those 3 mechs are there, these mechs up here did not get like anything on those. Now they didn't have extreme range other than like some of those PPCs, so it'd been really kind of tough for them to do a lot of damage. But the fact that they weren't able to do much at all or provide substantive cover meant that they did fall. I'm going to try to fix something here while I'm waiting on drop 3. Drop 3 is going to be Conquest on Grim Plexus. Just real quick, after that kill that Jenner, I mean, immediately Talons realized they had to move, and they came up towards Theta, had one light go this way, and then they all just pushed up this area. I think instead they needed to branch out here, get some here, and maybe even one looking this way with that cheetah coming this way, and they would have been a lot better chance there. But by all flushing through this one gap, I mean, the first guy sees that, he's like, no, I don't want to go. But if he just stops, he can't back up because he's got teammates right behind him, and it's just not going to work either. So he had to go through it. But right when that was happening, so right when they're going through this position here, 9th STS, I was saying maybe if they get through before they got up, they got everybody on the line, either here or here. And you just can't beat that through there. I mean, you're not going to be able to choose a target, and they just have the easiest time focusing targets down. Where are we at here? We got everybody in the lobby, so we'll get started here. Again, it'll be on Grim Plexus. This is going to be one of the first time we'll be competing on this map at the higher tonnages. It was in the week 2 rotation for the light map. I don't think it was in week 1. But I might be wrong because I didn't play on it. All right, I'm going to try a different mic setup here because apparently my mic's cutting out. And I hope it's not too much background noise. So if anybody wants to let me know if anything crazy. All right, and here we go on drop number 3. So this will be 1 assault. I'm blanking here. I'm blanking. 1 assault with the 80 tonner. So that can be often, this can be the gargoyle, awesome. Some heavies and mediums. We will have no lights on this drop. Sanguine Tigers taking the first 2 drops really in controlling fashion there. First one they won 8-2. The next one was 8-1 on a team kill nonetheless, and that one killed it. 1 death for them. So for the 80-ton command mech, which is bonus points if you can kill it and keep yours alive, we have the Gargoyle for 9th STS and the Zeus. The Zeus is loose for Talons of Kentaris. Kentaris. All right, so we got Hunchback 2C, a Timberwolf, an Ice Ferret, So that is your pseudo-light. And then you have another Timberwolf, Grasshopper. They went back with the Shadowhawk 2K, and then a Warhammer 6R. And for our 9th STS, we have the Ebon Jag, a Timberwolf, Nova, 2CA, Stormcrow, Timberwolf, and Warhammer. So both teams do have a Warhammer now. Right here, we got this group moving up towards the Theta, towards the top of this hill here, where 9th STS is really grouped in a lower land. I'm not a big fan of being lower on this map. I feel like there's too many good areas to move around, too many good areas to shoot from up high. And the team that's up high usually ends up winning unless the lower team can get up to that hill and then start pushing around them. And that Warhammer does get tagged, but only for a couple percentage points. Nothing major so far. Strikes being put down as they move up, as we see Talons is moving outside, back into the low area across Theta. Now, actually, right now, this is a really nice position for 9th STS engage, and they can take the hill up here on the left and stay a little bit lower in this area than the silos, and just get shots on those mechs that are around Theta and do a lot of damage here. But you see this mech just driving out there, all the way out there. Who's in this? Doctor? He's just like way out front here. He's just totally in the open. It was an easy target, and I don't know how he's not dead, but you see him down 53%, 24% Grasshopper though on the other side. It does go down, but now Doctor, they got to take down this guy. I mean, he's 46%. He was way out in the open, and it is just becoming this close range fight. It's 9th STS is because he's pushing, but Doctor's down to 42%, Doyle down to 68%. We're out in the 70s on Talons, and Doyle does go down. This is a pretty close fight so far, and it looks like the focus fire though, if they can get this right off this left side here, as they do, as Gastrias takes down Caballo, and now you have a 2-to-1 advantage. But percentage-wise, four kills as they're able to press that left flank there, and those ones up there on the top are not able to join in on this fight. And now they got even more here. There's no shooting going on from Talons here for so long, as 9th STS just totally outmaneuvers them in that position and gets down. I mean, they're 4-to-1 advantage, but some healthy mechs here, a lot of hurt, a lot of half damage mechs here, a couple of really hurt mechs here. That's all 9th STS. Maybe just protect those two. Just keep those two in the back. You don't need them anymore. Just pick out people if you can, if you have to, but just don't lose any mechs. Don't give them any C-bills or rep points here, but 3 kills remaining for 9th STS, 2 kills remaining, 1, and it'll quickly be 0 as this Ice Ferret does slip behind here, trying to take on the Ebon Jag. He could possibly get it. Yes, he does take it down. Well done there. I probably was muting this thing all the time because I switched my toggle button. Oh, okay. And Ice Ferret dies. And basically at this point, Talons is stuck watching cap points. Nijin, large pulse, medium lasers there on that Timberwolf. Stimrog, Gargoyle, small pulse, medium lasers, not really touched too much. They managed to get him down, so they get full max points on this drop.
Left arm critical damage.
That wasn't nice. Stimrog shooting friendlies. Yeah, the Warhammer did have an open torso, but nothing too bad. Could have taken at least a medium shot there for most mechs. Alright, damages-wise, Stimrog in that Gargoyle laying down the law. 580 damage. Warhammer 6R doing what Warhammers do at 515 damage. Everybody else around the 300s. I mean, 9th STS doing a great job spreading that damage around. For Talons and Kantaris, we are in the 2 to 300s here. Wolfish doing 353. Johnny Black maxing out on their side at 365 in the Shadowhawk. And Grasshopper was first to go down with Brian R at 36 damage. I don't know how he got caught during that push, because when that Ebon Jag, Doctor, when he was pushing across, they should have stood up there and killed him, in my opinion. I mean, it was just so obvious of a target for them. They could have taken him down, but then things just went poorly for them after that. They were doing okay there. They did lose that Grasshopper, which they probably didn't need to do it all. He probably could have gotten cover, backed off. and then they just stayed like kind of where they were, and they had some mechs sitting out on that wing just exposed. And 9th STS started poking Alpha at that wing, and they had all their guns zeroed in on that one at the end there, and Talons could not get any reply in. So you can see the points right now. 1,050 rep for 9th STS, 125 for Talons. So far, 9th STS maxing out on rep. Talons, basically, I mean, they're at 5 kills. So they need to regroup here. They need to put some punishment down. They want to stay competing for this first place, at least this early on. They're going to have to figure out something different to do on Caustic. I was going to try to show the map, but honestly, I was looking at the map and I was like, I'm not really sure what the coordinates were, who was moving from what side, and I didn't even have to tell you here because it looks like we might be getting going here right away here on Caustic Valley for drop number 4. Just waiting on a couple people to ready up, and we will get going. Now, at this point, we're at the 2 all drop, so that's 2 lights, 2 mediums, 2 heavies, 2 assaults. Most teams going double Kodiak on this drop, but I think there's plenty of other options there if you want to double up on like SRM Jenners, or but even then, like there's not a lot of utility maybe in doing that when you could just take the Cheetah and do just perfectly well with that. Medium wise, on Caustic, it's kind of hard to say like what's your best medium. What depends on strategy. If you're gonna brawl, then you might want either Griffin. The problem is, again, these teams aren't really loving SRMs, so we're probably not going to see the Griffin being pulled out or any kind of a brawl strat. Heavies wise, yeah, you could see it there, but I don't think either team really cares what heavy, really strongly favors one heavy or the other. I mean, they're both enjoying the Timberwolf and Warhammer so far. So we probably will see a Timberwolf Warhammer maybe for both teams. And then double Kodiak. My guess for mediums, Hunchback 2CA. I think we're going to see either large pulls, 6 small pulls. Maybe we'll see a little bit of DACA come out. I would like to see an Ultra 1 from one of these teams. I think that'll help them out a lot, actually. And I'd actually like to see somebody take a Street Crow here. I'd like to see one team take a Street Crow to help control Theta. I don't think you need to take the Street Crow, but I think just based on the way these teams are playing so far, with being a little bit, some of those caps moving around Theta area, it could play in. And here we go with drop number 4 between 9th STS and Talons of Cantaris. All right, everybody, who do you think's gonna win? Type it in chat. Make your predictions. Own up to it if you're wrong. I'll make my prediction after I see the drop the mechs people are taking. Stormcrow, Ebon Jag, Jenner 2CA, Hunchback 2CA, Kodiak, Cheetah, Timber D, another Kodiak for 9th STS. On the Talon side, we got Jenner 2CA, a Griffin 3M. Okay, my prediction, 2D2. My prediction is going to be Talons here. I think we're going to see a collision. I think we finally got some SRMs coming out, which makes me very happy here. See what how Talons approaches this, and let's see what 9th STS does. Are they going to sit back? They definitely seem to have more of that range. I don't know what builds they're taking, so we'll see. Try to cycle through some of these. Ultras and 5s on the Kodiak. Ultras on the Timberwolves. So we are going to see a heavy push here. They are tired of this exchange fight, and they're leaving their marks on the ground as they do so. That's so weird. I love bugs. All right, so we got on the Theta here, getting that cap lead, which is going to make 9th STS take a peek here. And Daka coming in there. Let's see what this Ebon Jag is, because I'm really curious. That's going to... An Ultra 20. So we're actually going to see a mix here of both teams going close range. They are... This is really interesting. Both teams are pretty much taking similar types of styles against each other. So far, Gas Your Ass is down to 83%. Otherwise, only lowest damage there on the other side is Johnny Black at 92% in that Timberwolf. 9th STS is circling a little bit on the outside. Come around here. They're going to try to go after this Marauder 3R. I didn't see that when I first started talking. What does he got? 4 meetings in an AC10 and Ultra AC5. Okay. And they got some strikes coming down at Theta. Now they have to get off Theta. They cannot hang out in this Caldera too much. I know your weapons. You're gonna run hot here. You gotta push out on us. They gotta push out on a side here. They gotta come around. Try to get into one of these corners here. There's UAVs everywhere. Total advantage 9th SCS when they poke here. They'll know exactly where they're at, and they're taking down Caballo and that Griffin 3M down to 58%, and they're not able to reply. Finally getting some reply here on Doyle. Now the percentages are going in as we have a heavy firefight here. 9th STS taking the fight into them, leaning over there, full aggression here, ripping them down. One kill for each side. We got a Kodiak down for one, a Timberwolf down for the other. Now there's some spread damage here. How are you gonna, trying to get back into focus fire here? Mechs are just going every which way. It's hard to follow this here, but both Kodiaks are down for Talons here, but a lot of damage is going on. The Marauder does drop. Now the mechs are dropping one by one. Only one kill for Talon so far, with just 3 mechs remaining, 2 mechs remaining, a Jenner and a Cheetah. Don't think we're going to see much out of this Cheetah at the end. There's nothing he can really do at this point of the game.
New target.
Yeah, he's just kind of doing what he can. Maybe he can pick off somebody here, but he's got to figure out his damage. Teammates got to give him something, but he gets legged and summarily dismissed. Okay, so 9th STS continues to show who's boss. Taking the first 4 drops here. The most they've lost so far, I believe, is 2 mechs. And they've only lost 1 mech on the other 2 drops. Stimrog and that Kodiak, 645 damage. Guess your ass is 652. I know it's here. It's repetitive, redundant, repetitive, whatever. With everybody else just doing solid damage from 9th STS all around the middle there. On the other side, you saw some good damage on Talons this time. A lot of people in the high mid 2s, Marauder in the 3s, but there is nothing to match those 650 damage Kodiaks on the other side. On this side, they're both in the 250s, getting dropped right away. Doyle is the one who went down in the beginning for 9th STS, but he still managed to get 151 damage off. I personally think they just hung out in the middle a little bit too long. With those UAVs up, both sides probably had UAVs up, but they just were going to be running hot as soon as they turned to fight. As soon as 9th S came over, they'd be able to shoot and they'd have their normal cooling, whereas instantly those mechs standing in the lava for Talons are just going to heat up. So with full points, once again, 9th STS at 1400 rep. Talons still just relying on the kills for the rep. Not able to get a bonus so far, so they are at the 150 rep. I was wrong, my prediction. Okay, so as mentioned, we saw Max just come in here right away, grab Theta. Basically, they ended up standing around this side of Theta, whereas we saw a little bit of the ridge here covered by 9th STS. They started just chipping in some poke shots with their serious faces here. And once they saw, I guess they just saw these guys just kind of hanging out in this area. And they had their mechs at a good cover here. I mean, look, just think about those dots right now. And you pretty much know who's going to win a drop. It's really hard to win a situation like this. This is what I was saying. You need to kind of race these mechs. You got to race them, which means the only way to do that is to come out. There's different ways to come out of the caldera. But one way is basically just to not do that. Okay, we're getting the laggy thing here. Refresh it. Hope it fixes. All right. So when they're sitting in this situation, they know they have enemies along these areas. Now at this point, they're already leaning towards this D4, E4 side. So it's going to be a little bit harder to back out and go this way, or even to back out that way. I mean, that's really hard. So the best choice here is probably to just come and just move here, try to go this way, and they just keep coming around. It's really tough, honestly, and I think their main mistake was even getting their mechs in there in the first place. They had the DACA, but they hadn't even felt out their opponent. There was no real scouting, no real sense of necessarily where they're at. Maybe they would have been a little better off if they had just kind of held up along here at first with their DACA. Maybe, just kind of sit here, get a light up here, hang out on Theta, get a sense of what they want to do, get a sense of what 9th STS is trying to do. At that point, you could just move in, join up. You could basically you can make a little more of an intelligent choice. I think at that point you're not as stuck. They ended up just getting stuck in the caldera with no real feeling of where to go. And it is tough. It is tough when you're sitting here and you're getting shot already to make a decision to pour out. I think that would have been their best move, but I think their fatal flaw was just shoving so many mechs inside the caldera. Maybe if they just kept pressing the W key and never even stopped in the caldera, that might have gone okay as well for them. Okay, so appreciative to both teams here in being quick to get readied up. So we are going to get started here in a few seconds with drop number 3. Drop number 3. Drop number 5. And drop number 5 is going to be on Conquest, on Canyon Network. Now we know 9th STS has spent a bajillion hours on Canyon Network. I don't know about the Talents people. I don't really know if they were on teams or not. I mean, I think some of these MS guys at least were on their SWK team that was in the tournament, but I don't know about the 228 people. And here we go with drop number 5, final drop of the night. Can Talons come back? Can they get this 5th drop? get their get their confidence back. You know, maybe they should take a little bit of time until these drops. Sometimes you start losing a few drops, you're just kind of down, like, what are we going to do? How are we going to do this? What do we got to do differently? And these drops have been going on pretty quickly, one after the other. So sometimes that might keep your head in the game, but sometimes it just means you might just be frustrated and no longer, if you're not confident, it's really hard to play well. Just say it that way. All right, let's check out some of the mechs here at 4 assaults, 2 heavies, and 2 lights. We see the double Kodiak coming from 9th STS, as well as a Dire Wolf and an Executioner, a Summoner, a Timberwolf, Cheetah, and a General 2C. The duplicate on the Talon side is the Kodiaks. We see the Banshee, Warhammer, Mauler, Grasshopper. They might actually be trying to do a little push here. I'm not sure exactly how they're going to play it. But we see the 4 mechs going over towards Kappa. Let's zoom on over here. So we might get a little fight here on the Kappa side. We see the lights pushing up on the outside around by the train tracks. They come over here. They might take a little bit too much damage there for Talons if they see it. Yeah, okay, now they have poke, but are they actually going to pick out that there's a Warhammer here? They do toss up the UAV. They should see these mechs rolling around. So the question is, what other mechs are going to do? How are they going to get involved? Because they're hanging out back at this the C4 hill. Not really able to get too engaged into this, but they do have the mechs. They're sitting right here. And that's going to be your Grasshopper and a Warhammer that could join in the fight. But now they have dropped into the canyon. And Kappa is going to go to 9th STS, who now takes up a position on that side with that Timberwolf and Warhammer. All right, so he is with the 5ER large, and we are looking at the normal type of builds here. Damage so far is just a little bit on that Kodiak, 88%, one down to 87% for Talons. Other side, Doyle and Timberwolf, 85%. Everybody else in the 90s. Okay, so we have 9th STS now that they've taken Kappa. They are continuing to push up along this line towards the B3 side. They have a Jenner here, and they come on the Warhammer and a Cheetah. They see him down his own. He cannot get out of there. There's no way for the Warhammer to get out of there. And that's what here, if they could just get Doyle. If Doyle can get here just soon enough, they can do the damage here. And there's absolutely nothing that Talons is going to be able to do to this because they have nobody else on this side. I don't know why the Warhammer was hanging out here so long. They do definitely want to take him down. Maybe they can react against something. Do something, react, push against Theta. They actually, that'd be beautiful right now. If they push across Theta, they might be able to hang out those mechs there. And that would, if this Jenner now is going to try to come up the Warhammer, but honestly, he's going to get there just as he dies and be stuck fighting a 4v1. And not what he really should be doing here. Pedro should just join the rest of his team here. Gun it. Talons guy has to gun it over Theta. Otherwise, they're going to give it way too much time for 9th STS to come out the back here. Now, they do have both lights on Padabra, and he is probably going to get down here as well. And now they're starting to get some back shots on the mechs from Talons as they push across Theta. And it's taken them so long to push across, but they do have the Doctor down to 50% and that Kodiak. We'll see if they can get some kills out of this here. They are down 2-0, but they have the numbers. The other side do not back up on a Theta. They got to keep pushing over Theta. You're going to get shot in the back. But they do get 2 kills, so we have 2 kills for both teams. And now they're going to have to regroup here, but they've taken some back shots there as they're doing that because they did not, I guess they did not expect the mechs to be sitting up there shooting them. They just needed to roll over the other side here. And now they are down a light and a heavy. The other team's down 2 of their assaults, so we'll see. I mean, tonnage is in favor of 228, but the damage is, or the Talons, but the damage is definitely in favor of 9th STS, as well as they have an extra light, which they can dominate the capping if they want. But Doyle taking down Johnny Black there, and a Grasshopper does go down, removing some of that ER large who was hanging out on the back there. Nice shot by him. And these mechs are really just lingering out here in the open here. Doyle does go down, but I don't really know if they're going to be able to do what they're going to be able to do here, because as soon as 9th STS is reset up, they should have a nice controlling position here. It looks like they are in that lower canyon, though. They do leg that Cheetah. Did they leg him? No, they didn't quite leg him. Try to leg him, but all their damage is going on him. But the kills are going back and forth here at 4 all. We have only 1 assault down, 4 to 28. Oh, no. It's all dropping away. And they have a Kodiak and a Banshees. All that remains for 228 for Talons. I'm sorry, I keep messing up that name. All right, so it's Banshees remaining, and he is surrounded and does drop. And 9th STS takes it cleanly with 5 wins, but they did manage 5 kills on this drop, so it was the strongest performance from Talons tonight. I think they did the one thing that they did really well there was recognizing they needed to push across Theta. Unfortunately, once they got the other side there, they kind of hung up on that area and weren't able to regroup once they wiped out those couple mechs. I think that was a mistake by Potterball coming back to help out the Warhammer. The Warhammer made a mistake by not just turning around and running away as soon as they were going to leave the Kappa side, as soon as they were giving it up. So in the end, 9th STS, I mean, it's a lot closer. It didn't feel that close, honestly. Like, it didn't feel like it should have been that close. But the damage was put down when they came over and they were able to do enough to take down several of those mechs there, and leaving just a Cheetah, an Executioner, and a Summoner at the end for 9th STS. But they had the positions there just to keep taking them down. It looked like because they're down to the lower canyon, they were able, when they turned the corner, they were able to get on that Cheetah, then they were able to bounce to the next mech, and then finally finish up the last mech. All right, let's see what the points are going to be. 8-5, and I did not get the bonus, though, because Talons did not get the bonus because they didn't get that last Summoner down, I believe. Or is it? I am going to check the rules. All right, so it's drop 5, so you just have to get down the enemy assault mechs, but the Executioner was left alive. So they did not get the bonus there. And that means STS is going to finish here with the max points of 1750. And Talons is going to come out at 275. So really strong performance tonight by 9th STS in taking out Talons of Kentaris. Pretty much putting them in a commanding position to win Division B. They've beaten now 3 out of their 4 opponents. Let's check this out. They've beaten 3 out of their 5 opponents. So they still have to play. So looks like Antares did play a match, I think, tonight. They're just playing maybe at the same time. Not really sure. The Antares Sanguine Manticores, who now are going to be their main opponent. It looks like they won tonight 4 drops. I'm not really sure. Let's take a look here. Antares Sanguine Manticores beat Majestic 12. Okay, so they're 3-2, 3-2, 6. So they must have won. Yeah, they must have won. I'm confused. Because there's only 14 drops recorded, so either way, they probably won 3-2 as well. So either way, Antares Sanguine Manticores now is the main target running 9th STS. 9th STS will be in the lead by about 1,000 reputation, which is quite a bit. So getting through here, they'll have their next match against each other, I believe, and then that'll finish off the first half of the season, and then we'll start going back through the teams soon after that. I'm just trying to figure out what the schedule's looking like here. All right, so next up for 9th STS is Majestic 12. And all right, Majestic 12 right now is 4 drops won, 6 drops lost. They're sitting in 5th place in the E Division B out of the 6 teams. 331st is in 6th place. Phoenix Legion in 4th. Talons is now in 3rd. And then once these games are recorded here, 9th STS will move up to 1st place, and Antares will drop to 2nd. All right, let's take a look at the map now that I'm done babbling. All right, so we saw 9th STS pushing 4 mechs in this general cap area, and we saw they had their 2 mechs come here, their 2 lights hung out here, and they had like a Warhammer and I forget what the other mech was. They had another like probably medium or something down in this area. 9th STS able to push them off this Kappa area, took Kappa, but then they end up continuing through towards the C4 area, and you had that Warhammer who was here, and I don't really understand why. Like, he was actually caught even earlier than that. I mean, he was caught in this area. I don't really understand why he was hanging out. It seems like he had plenty of time to get away as soon as they decided they weren't going to fight it. Probably was just a missed call. And so he gets taken down, but right around this area here. But the problem is the Powder Bra also is like, try to come back in his light and help out, but then he gets taken down over here. However, during that time, the rest of the mechs for Talons who were sitting in this general area, they recognized they had to do something, so they pushed over Theta, and there was only 3 or 4 mechs on this side, and they were kind of... Sorry, these coordinates are messing with me because it's different. It's not the old ones that we're used to from the tournament. So then they just came over on this side, and they were able to roll into a few of the mechs, kill them. I don't think they didn't lose anything here. They got 2 mechs, but the problem is, at this point, they were sitting like, there's some people were still sitting up on Theta. At that point now, these mechs are coming up here from 9th STS. I don't know exact positions, but they were getting back shots on them. They ended up rolling over and resetting back up in this open position. But that's where I was saying I don't really like this position very much for them. That's wrong colors. I didn't really like the position because they're too open and exposed here. 9 STS, it looks like they had 1 mech here, and I think he went down. But they had a lot of mechs in the canyon here. And then the Cheetah ended up coming this wide. They're able to take him down. And then once they kind of turned the corner, it became a little bit easier to finish off. And then at the very end, the Banshee that was sitting right here was the last one to go down. But it was a strong fight by both teams. You know, definitely a mistake by Talon. But then I would say 9 STS also made a mistake by chasing so many mechs all the way around here. Like, they didn't really need to do that. Maybe 3 at most that Timberwolf with Doyle, who was in the front, could have, because then he could have jumped back up here and been assisting. But the other mech probably should have joined these people, at least bounce back here, because they had to predict at that point that, or at least assume that Towns is going to make the right move and try to push on there. Try to push on their remaining mechs and remaining assaults that were sitting back there on their side of the fight. But in the end, though, they were able to keep alive 3 mechs in that STS, including one of their assaults, and win that drop 8-5. Well, thank you everybody for joining on this cast of MRBC Season 8, Week 3, EU Division B between 9th STS and Talons of Kentaris. I am the Magician, and congratulations to 9th STS in taking this 5 drops to nothing and getting the maximum reputation. And good luck to both teams in the remainder of the season.